Oh, man, we're live. Wake up. What's up, everybody? I'm Aslan and Corey, joined by Corey Clark, senior writer for WarChant.com. This is a live edition of Wake Up War Chant, which is always proudly presented by our friends at Zaxby's Indescribably Good. I didn't have any today, which means my Memorial Day wasn't indescribably good, but it was decent. How about yours, Corey?
Yeah, pretty laid back. No pools. I didn't go swimming with the friends. They're kind of out of town. All the ones that have pools anyway. So Brady and I did a little disc golf.
Oh,
that was something to do. It was a 3.5 mile walk. So he was distracted by the golf to walk that much. And other than that, hit a few balls at the range and tried not to sweat. But I did a lot.
You went to the range too?
Yeah.
You're living the country club life.
It wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah.
Well, I hit every ball terribly.
Okay.
And then the very last ball, I hit as pure as I've ever hit anything in my life. And it literally just pure right down the middle. For me, you know how I've taken full swings now. So I hit my 4 hybrid.
Okay.
I hit it about 175, I think it looked like, which for me is about as well as I could hit it was off the ground. I'm like, man, that's it for me. I can't hit a ball better than that. And it was my last one. So it keeps me coming back for more. Like, did I figure something out? I got to go back out there and try it. So we'll see. It's a really frustrating game.
I hear you. So we're going to adapt this into our podcast, which will run on Tuesday. We're live, I think, on YouTube. I hear somebody calling. I'll get your call in a minute. We're going to take phone calls. Apparently the link that we would put up on WarChant.com is not working, so I need to kind of figure how that's going to work out. Let's just take the call. Shall we take the call?
You don't want to figure out the link first?
Well, let's get it all over with here in a painless fashion. Hey, welcome on in to Wake Up War Chant live. Work with me here. I'm going to pivot and move you into our little domain here. Who we got on the line? Oh, we got Gator Kirk on the line. What is going on, Gator Kirk? How are you, man?
I'm good. Hope y'all had a good Memorial Day.
We did. I think so. So far, so good. Can you hear Kirk, Corey?
I can. I didn't hear him at first, but I can hear him now.
Okay. Can you hear Corey? Can you hear Corey, Kirk?
Not yet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot to do the one thing I had to do my job. But anyhow, you'll be able to hear Corey once I flip the switch over to him. What's on your mind, Gator Kirk?
Aslan, tell him I said hey.
Question is, what impact will college football be under if high schools don't have football?
I think didn't we talk about that on Friday, Corey? I'll flip it over to you here, Corey. What does it mean if what does this all mean for high school football?
Yeah, it's not good.
Well, what does it mean for college football if you don't have high school football, like all the recruits and things like that?
I think the way that college football recruiting has been sped up in recent years for at least the major programs, I don't think missing 1 year will impact much of the 2021 class, like the class that's going to be seniors. I think the Florida State coaches have already identified. Now they have a bit of they're hamstrung a little bit because they're new, but I think they've identified a lot of the kids that they're interested in already. The way college football recruiting is now, the kids are recruited as sophomores going into their junior year now. Juniors going into, so they've identified who they need to identify. The problem is for the next class. They're not going to have any, they're not going to have a lot of kids to be able to, in their pool going into the next class, into 2022. I think that's where you'll really see an impact for the schools like Florida State. Now, for the schools like, I don't know, Troy, Sanford, Central Florida, it's going to be really hard, man, because I don't think many of those, they're not the types of schools that get kids a year before commitment, because all those kids are trying to go to bigger places. They're the ones that really have to recruit actively during senior seasons. And that's going to be really hard for them. I think that's my opinion on it. It's not going to be good if there's not a high school football season. I hope there will be. I think there probably will be, but who knows for sure.
There we go, Kirk. Thanks for calling in, Kirk. Appreciate it, man. I hope that answered your question, man.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks,
y'all have a great night.
You too.
Thanks, Kirk. Yeah, when did we talk about that, Aslan?
Talked about it on Friday's show. I thought we talked about it on Renegade Express. I thought somebody asked about that on Renegade Express.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have everything properly routed, but we're fine. Everyone can hear everything. The phone call thing, I might need to do a little tweaking on because everything is, I worked on TV, but just because I worked on TV doesn't mean I know how to make TV work. But that's for another discussion. Let's see here. Somebody says that we need to work out. I can show that on the screen. Swolnol, one Swolnol says, Aslan, we need to work out. But if you look at his arm, I don't know if you can see his arm, Corey. It's large arm.
Can you hang with somebody that looks like that?
No, I cannot.
You could spot him, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'm really good at spotting. There's an art to it that a lot of people don't know how to properly do, and I'm able to execute it quite well. We'll take this phone call, and then I'm going to have to pivot and kind of try to figure out how to get the link working for everybody to be able to watch it embedded on our website. Shouldn't take us too long. I will figure it out. I assure you. Oh, it's from an unknown caller. We're not doing that. We don't hunt that dog around here. We don't do unknown callers. Like what?
We don't. Okay, I see how it is.
I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea.
That's fair.
I don't think it's a good idea. But anywho, all right, Corey. So I did see over the weekend that you did take umbrage with a story from the Wall Street Journal that had some quotes from the University of Michigan president, who apparently also moonlights as an epidemiologist, which means he knows a thing or two about infectious diseases. Why did you take umbrage with his comments and I guess summarize the comments for those who don't follow you on Twitter and see your fabulous retweets and stuff that you do?
Basically, he said, it just goes back to the whole cycle of we ask one random person at one random university their opinion, and then that's supposed to sway something. That's supposed to sway a narrative or sway the momentum. And it's just one person's opinion. And his opinion was there might be other schools that will play football with no fans and stands, but it's not happening at Michigan. And he thinks it's probably likely that there won't be any, at least that's how I interpreted it. There won't likely be any football in the fall, or there's a good chance that there won't be any football in the fall. And imagine Michigan pays their football coach $10 million a year. Imagine you're a Michigan alum, and we all know the deal. Hopefully most of us take this thing seriously. But imagine a Michigan fan in late September watching Ohio State play Michigan State. Meanwhile, your team just scrapped the season. That president wouldn't survive until October. It's just not feasible. If the rest of the Big Ten is playing, you best believe Michigan will fall in line. That's how the real world works. So he will walk it back at some point, maybe not the holiday weekend, but he's going to walk it back at some point and say, look, let me clarify what I meant. If the testing doesn't improve, if blah, 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 then we won't do it. But it's like his whole sole intent was to pour water on this momentum of wanting to play a season. And it just, to me, served no real purpose because he doesn't get to make that call. If every other Big Ten school is playing, and Alabama and Clemson and Florida State are playing, and Michigan's going to be the lone holdout, man, that guy won't have a job the next weekend. He just won't. Because, I get it. I get that safety comes first, and I'm not dismissing that. But money's really, really important. And if you have enough tests for your football team, if they deem it safe in East Lansing and they deem it safe in Columbus, Ohio, they're going to deem it safe in Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's my opinion anyway.
I think it's valid. I'm trying to work on the fly. You did a
I
really
tried to
good
talk
job.
long enough. As
you did a really good job. I think you did an exceptional job of stalling.
And another thing.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so what's going to happen is he's going to come out, I don't know, in a day or two and clarify his statements, or a board of trustees. Somebody's going to talk to a board of trustee member at Michigan, or however I assume they have a board of trustees. And that guy's going to counter what the president said. And it's just a cycle, man. It's just like, let's see where we are. You, Michigan president, I know you feel like you run the university. You don't. You make probably $450,000 a year. The head coach makes $10 million a year. If he wants you fired, you're fired. That's how life works. So it's how Magic Johnson got rid of the head coach after his second year in the NBA, because he was the big star. If Jim Harbaugh wants to play football, who's the head coach at Ohio State now?
Ryan Day.
Yeah, if Ryan Day's out recruiting and showing recruits, hey, we play football, come here, and Jim Harbaugh's just going to sit on his couch and be like, yeah, sure, our president said we can't play, so we can't play. I mean, come on, that's not if Ohio, like, I don't want college football without fans in the stands either. But if Ohio State's playing a football game without fans in the stands, Michigan's going to be playing a football game without fans in the stands. That's how it works.
Well, I see that Spain, La Liga is returning. Korea is close to allowing fans at KBO baseball games.
Ooh.
And it's May. Well, I mean, it's kind of June, but you've been pretty ahead of the curve, Corey. Like, you should really pat yourself on the back. You've been hammering testing back in March, and that's been sort of the bridge to get us to where we are now. So I think your point of view should be taken with a little bit more, I don't want to say belief, but just we should look at you at the coracle, as the oracle that you are.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, the whole outdoor concept is something that you've also been pointing out too. What we've seen the real outbreaks happening at are in nursing homes, prisons, people that are clustered inside. So if you're outside, and I think even Dr. Anthony Fauci was saying, like, yeah, we need to get everybody outside the house now. So like September football, 50,000 people in an 80,000 seat stadium does not even seem that crazy right now.
So did you see the pictures of the people in the Ozarks?
Yeah. Okay, can I interrupt you real quick? So apparently that happened. Also, there was a place in Springfield, Missouri, a Great Clips haircut place where apparently 2 of the barbers had symptoms and exposed themselves to probably over 100 customers. Terrible things, but also good things. Can we keep an eye on that? Maryland, their boardwalk, and let's see if there's a pop-up, like a hot spot pops up or what have you, because if everybody from the Lake of Ozarks party turns out to be okay, and the 100 people that came in contact with the 2 barbers in Springfield, Missouri are okay, and the people that were hanging on the boardwalk Memorial Day weekend in Maryland turn out to be okay, like, aren't these the sort of trials you would want to be able to run, but you really can't because it's unethical, but it just happened?
Yeah, there was also a pool party apparently in some club in Houston where that was on Twitter too, where it was the same thing as the Ozarks. It's just people all over each other. And I think the mayor said he was going to have to shut it down. But what would be cool is if the mayor was like, look, you guys can party here for 6 hours. Get all up on each other. You're outside, have fun. We're all adults. Let's having a good time, guys. But guess what? We're getting your phone number, we're getting your social security number, and we're going to track you for the next month. If you agree to do that, you can stay here. Basically, we can conduct a human experiment with you because you're doing it anyway. We might as well get to track it, and then if it's a small percentage of you guys or none, then that'll lend to more pool party. But what my point I was going to make with the Ozarks was, again, that's legal. They weren't breaking the law apparently. They were allowed to gather like that in mass. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't have my son out there at a huge pool party around people he doesn't know. But they were allowed to do that. They decided they were going to do that. However you view it, they lived their life. But you're going to allow people to do that. But people won't be able to go watch a Missouri or Arkansas football game. Where is the Ozarks, by the way? Is it Missouri?
Missouri. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not going to be able to go sit in a stadium and watch a Missouri football game, but you can go down to the Ozarks in the same state and basically belly flop on each other for 5 hours.
Ooh. This takes so much. I thought this was going to be a really good thing, and it sort of is, this new software that we're using, but it's really a lot of steps I have to jump through. Oh, let's go. Oh, I missed it. I missed the call. Oh, there's another one. Let's take it. Let's see what's going on. Welcome on in to a live edition of Wake Up War Chant. You're probably like your second caller that we're taking, but our 5th one because I don't know how to do my job properly. But who is this?
No way. This is AJ in California.
AJ, what's up, man?
Hey, a long-time listener. Can't believe I got through.
Corey, can you hear AJ?
I can't hear AJ.
Yeah,
but can he hear me?
AJ, can you hear Corey?
Not yet.
Oh, man, I thought I had all worked out.
Aslan, tell AJ I said hey.
Hey, AJ, Corey says, hey. He can hear you, though. What's your question, man?
Oh, I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say hi and that I appreciate what you guys are doing. And I'm hoping that we got a season this season.
Yeah, we all do, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys can go back and do like Bobby Bowden's first year, like a chop chat on it, that'd be great. I'm Kurt Unglob's cousin, and I want more like the 1976 to 1980 years.
Hey, ask him if he saw the Bobby Butler one.
So that's just
Yeah,
a request from me.
Did you see the Bobby Butler one that Corey and Gene did? 1980?
Yeah,
Pit game?
I did.
Yeah,
that was great.
Ask him if I think his cousin
But
had
anyhow,
like
cousin.
go no. I'll
All right,
I'll talk to you later.
It's fine.
Oh man, I was gonna. I had Kurt Unglob trivia.
He's got Kurt Unglob trivia. Go ahead. I'm going to translate for Corey for you real quick.
I
Corey,
think
go ahead.
Kurt Unglob had like 2 90-yard touchdown catches in the same season, or something like that, like 2 85-yard or 2 90-yard
Your
touchdowns.
cousin had 2 big touchdowns, like over 80-plus yards in a season.
Yeah, he actually held the record, longest touchdown pass. I think it was like 96 yards or something for a little bit.
Okay.
Until Snoop.
I don't know what game it was.
Snoop apparently
Right.
broke that record, Corey says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Winky to Snoop.
Yeah,
98
98 yards. Yeah.
Gets
Wow.
yeah. Well, hey, man,
Hey,
I appreciate the call.
Aslan.
Once I get this thing all figured out, you can talk and interact with Corey once I know how to do my job.
Hey,
Sounds,
tell him I said bye.
sounds good, man.
Corey says bye.
Keep it up, Aslan.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know
Yeah,
why it
man.
wasn't. This is all perfect. I thought it all worked out until I didn't have it all worked
Yeah,
out.
I think one of them was like North Texas State in the snow. They had to, back then Florida State had to play at North Texas State because of course. And I think Kurt Unglob had like a 90-something yard touchdown in the snow.
Oh, hey, I think our guy, Maxwell Gibbs, I think was trying to call us. And I think this is a New York number. It's a New York area number, Corey. Buckle up.
I'm ready.
Who is this?
Corey, you hear me?
Oh, no.
What's
you sound
going
like
on there?
you're he sounds like he's an evil villain. No, there's nothing wrong with me. I think they have a bad connection. Must have like one bar. Gibby, is that you? We hear that's Maxwell Gibbs, but you don't sound. I gotta drop you. Maxwell. I love you, but I gotta drop you.
Turn it off.
All
Turn it
all
off.
right. You sound sound like one of the people that like.
Tell him to
cigarettes
text
my whole life.
the question.
Yeah, you guys can also text us as well. The phone number that's on your screen. Actually, speaking of which, we have a text from a 229 number. Came over at 7:11 p.m. Wake up, Corey. I just caved last night and finally shaved my head for the first time. How do you get yours to look so smooth and shine so good? Any special cream or razors? Thanks for working hard on the holiday weekend. Hold that thought.
On my head? Are you crazy?
Can you hear the phone ringing,
Yeah.
Corey?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure. This is a beautiful thing. Well, come on into Wake Up War Chant Live. Who's this?
Hey, Aslan, this is Jay from Daytona Beach.
Jay from Daytona Beach. Hey, you staying safe out in Daytona Beach? Jay, I saw a guy kind of crazy. Went kind of sideways this past weekend, man.
Hey, man, I'm staying inside, man.
All right. Okay. You want to see football played? I hear you. What's on your mind, Jay?
Hey, listen, real quick, Corey, you may have to take UCF out of that category with Troy and that other school you named about being able to get recruits. I think UCF has elevated a little bit.
Did I say UCF? I didn't mean to say UCF. If I did, I misspoke. They're not Troy.
He's correcting himself. He said that he doesn't. They're not Troy. UCF's a little bit higher on the food chain. He didn't mean to besmirch a good name of UCF.
Come on, Coracle. You know, I don't know if we would be able to see some of the past, couple of years or so.
Jay, anything else on your mind?
Tell him I meant FAU.
Yeah, I do have a question, serious question.
Absolutely.
You know,
By the way, you're
we've
going to have to
been
hang up and listen to Corey's answer because I don't know how to do my job properly, so you're not going to be able to hear Corey. But you can ask your question, then hang up, and then Corey will answer it for you.
Okay. Good deal. We've been kind of nostalgic, lately, reminiscing with the whole, lockdown and everything. So going back to transfers, because, this is kind of a hot topic right now. I want to know, and this is probably a better question for Corey. I don't want to call them busts because in college football, we tend to have, that tends to happen, especially at a school like Florida State, high expectations. But can you recall the most underwhelming or unachieving transfer that we've had, I guess, in the past 20 years. Two people that come to mind for me are Fabian Walker, because with such high expectations and we needed a quarterback, and, you know, he was supposed to be like I think a junior college extraordinaire. And the second one,
come on, Jay. I'm hurt. He was hurt. Can't call him. Can you call someone who was hurt a bust?
Well, he was a bust before he got hurt.
All right, carry on, Jay.
I mean, point taken, but, you know, this is from a fan perspective,
Okay.
you know.
I got you.
The second guy that comes to mind, I think we got him in a package deal with Corey Currency, and his name was Tavares Presley, I think. I don't know if Mike Harris came with Corey Currency or Tavares Presley, but I specifically remember, I think he wore like number 1 or something. And the first play from scrimmage, he got the ball. They stood him up in the backfield. He got hurt. We never saw him again. So I'll hang up and maybe Corey can, you know, address that.
Fair enough. Corey, biggest bus transfer.
The Tavares Presley play, I'm almost positive, was against South Florida. And he got rocked in the hole and fumbled. And I don't know that he ever got another carry the rest of his career. I would call Currency, honestly. I thought Currency was a bigger bust than Presley because we had higher expectations for him. The way Jimbo talked about him, even though the kid had only played like half a year of real football, I think he was a flag football phenom. But the way Jimbo talked about him, you thought he was going to be a first-round pick, and he just wasn't that guy. He's also the one that said his goals for the year were like 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns, and I think he ended up with like 300 yards. Currency. Yeah, before the season, he's like, what are your goals your first year really playing? He's like, probably about 1,500 yards, probably 12 touchdowns, normal year. You mean like the third best year in Florida State history? Okay, cool. I mean, I wouldn't say Presley is the biggest bust just because, again, the expectations weren't that high for him. I would throw Currency more as a bust because the way Jimbo talked about him. And Fabian Walker, he was just such a big deal coming out of Americus. And again, I think he goes into that same boat he does. Sexton, Ricks, Adrian McPherson, they just didn't get good coaching back then. They just didn't. I don't know how else to put it. I don't think it's a coincidence that every player that played quarterback for that crew for those 6 or 7 years wasn't very good. It's not a coincidence. I thought Fabian would be better, but his only real chance was that Sugar Bowl because Ricks kept parking in handicap parking spots, and he had a bum shoulder. And then he bounced to Valdosta State and won a national championship there. I think he was supposed to be a good basketball player too, old Fabian. I think he was another two-sport guy. But as far as transfers, they haven't hit the transfer home run like a lot of other schools have. I'm sure there's some. Walter Jones, if you want to go way back, he turned out to be all right. And there's some others back then. But here in recent years, when you're talking about Hornibrook, Golson, name them. Who's been a good transfer here in recent years? Have they had one?
Nate Hardage.
Yeah, Nate Dogg kind of turned the defense around there in the early part of the 2000s for sure.
What do you call it? Actually, Mike Harris. Mike Harris had a pretty decent career.
He did.
Transfer, right?
Yeah, he did. He started or at least played a lot in that secondary with those guys. I'm sure there's a couple that I'm missing. I just can't. Menelik Watson started for a year. It's hard to the guys that are only here for a year. It's hard to make think of them as making a huge impact, but he did. He was a really good player. But you just see, like, again, maybe it's just recency bias because of what Miami and Florida have done recently. Florida with the kid from Louisville that led them in sacks last year. Miami just got the top QB transfer and a really good. Didn't they get a good defensive end too?
Miami?
I thought they did, or a good defensive player. I might be wrong.
Temple, maybe?
Yeah. So they just, but we'll see, man, because I'm really high on the Texas A&M running back. Corbin, I think he has a chance to put up big numbers in this offense when they play football.
Kind of like Kalen Laburn. Running backs don't hurt. I mean, if you want to talk about like bust, it's always awkward to have these conversations. But like Chauncey Stovall was a 5-star. He was one of the top 5, I think, junior college players. Period. And he might have caught 20 balls in one season. Yeah, but I mean, you're a 5-star guy. But
5-star JUCO is a different curve. Like Marcus White was a 5-star JUCO guy. they're great. They're a 5-star JUCO to me isn't the same as a 5-star kid from Pahokee. It's not typically the same.
Well, then how do you judging a kid as a bust then?
I don't really judge JUCO guys as busts.
All right, so transfer wise, Florida State hasn't anybody that was like a 5-star somewhere that transferred.
No, that's what they need to get back in that game. They need to get 5 stars to transfer here. It'd be cool. Heck, the recruits they've had lately, you can't call them busts because they're not high enough recruited. Let's go, Norville. Yeah, that's right. He's playing the long game.
Like the whole meme thing. Can't have any busts if you don't recruit anybody that's not in the Ravels 100.
That's right. If you don't recruit any All-Americans, they can't be disappointments.
Oh, man. All right, let me open the phone lines back up here. I still don't know what I'm doing with my life. Oh, we have a whole bunch of texting. That's a good thing. Let's see here. Grew up near Tally, about 30 minutes west on Highway 20. Now I'm in Macon, Georgia. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Go Knowles. Jimmy from Macon.
Hey, I wanted to say real quick. I looked it up. So Kurt Unglob had a 91-yard touchdown against North Texas in 1976. It's all in here, baby. It's all in here. Don't ask me anything from the 2017 or 18 season, but I remember Kurt Unglob had a long touchdown against North Texas.
Welcome on in to the Wake Up War Chant Live. Who got on the phone call line?
Yes. Aslan?
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, Corey, Aslan, how you guys doing today?
Good.
Hey, man.
All right, I have a million questions I could ask you guys, but I guess the first one would be
how about pick 2?
Okay. All right. First question would be, in your opinion, do you guys think we'll have college football this year?
Yes.
It's tricky because you can't hear Corey. Yeah, we both think there's going to be college football this year.
Tell him my yes was emphatic.
Corey's yes is emphatic. Like, absolutely. And I do too. I mean, my whole thing has been they're going to play, probably won't start on time, but now I think that they'll probably even start on time. And there'll probably be fans in the stands. Probably a good amount of them.
Wow.
Here we are.
Wow.
New
that would be great.
Yeah.
And the other question is, I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest. I was a Willie Taggart guy. I liked him because I know he was devoted to FSU growing up being a fan. But I'll tell you what, I think Coach Norville, he is like what we needed in between Willie and Jimbo, somebody who was not too strict, but not too lenient. And I think we found our guy here.
That's a fair and accurate assessment. I think that's a good way to think about it. It's a good way to visualize it.
Yeah.
We'll let Corey talk about his answer.
What does Corey think?
Yeah. Oh, Corey, you're going to have to hang up to hear Corey's answer. It costs extra for that. I haven't figured everything out properly yet on this new thing, so I'll let you hang up, and then I'll let Corey answer for you.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, and go Knowles.
Yeah, man. That's right. Corey.
All right.
Mike Norville, man. Who is he? Who's the comp?
Kurt Unglob also had a 96-yard touchdown to win the Virginia Tech game with 6 minutes left to end the 1976 season. That was the game winner, 96 yards. My man, he was a long touchdown machine. No, I like Norvell a lot. I don't know, and I don't even want to make that go back and like relitigate whether it would have been better for him to be right after Jimbo or right after Willie. I think he's the right person for right now. He might have been the perfect person 2 years ago. We don't know. I have a feeling couldn't have been any worse than it was. But I just think this guy has his blank together. He just does. He knows what he wants out of a program. He knows how he wants to run it. We'll see if it can, what he's done, the success he's had at Memphis, and the way he runs a program like that can translate to a place like Florida State. But I don't have any reasons to think it won't. I like the way, and Aslan does too. We like the way the guy runs a practice. We like the way he he's a nice guy. He'll sit and talk to you about his kids or his family or whatever, or his kid and his family or his coaches or his play. But he's also a no-nonsense guy. Like he has one mission, and he strike you as a guy that's kind of, number one, A-type personality, but also just kind of singularly focused on making this a better program.
Yes.
Good. Good. Hey, thanks for answering.
Pivoting off you. I mean, again, I've watched a couple of the games. They were losses. I should probably watch some of the wins to get back the honeymoon loving feeling. because I lost a little bit of it.
What kind of person? The guy lost like 9 games over the last 3 years total, and you choose the ones he lost. He won like 30 something in the last 3 years. Choose a win.
Well, I feel like nobody judged Jimbo on his wins. Everybody always talked about, NC State, all these inexplicable losses.
I feel like Jimbo got judged pretty well in that 13 season, in the 14 season.
Yeah, no one remembers those.
That's true. It's a good point.
They really don't. All right.
I wonder if Norville I wonder if he has an NC State loss in his career like that, where he was clearly the better team. Because you've watched 2 games where they weren't clearly the better team. Like if he just blew a game, if his team just straight up vomited on themselves, I wonder if he has a game like that. I bet he does. Every coach does. Somebody
said, Aslan, barber shops are open. Support local businesses.
That's funny, man.
That's not that funny. Welcome on into Wake Up War Chant Live. Corey, you can hear the phone call, right?
I can.
All right, fantastic.
Can you guys hear me?
Who is this?
This is Maxwell Gibbs.
It's Maxwell Gibbs, man. He's here, live in the flesh.
Can Corey hear me?
Yes.
Here's the problem, though, Maxwell. You can't hear Corey, but he can hear you. He can hear you.
Okay.
So we can do this like 1987 style, where you're going to ask the question, then hang up, and they can hear us answer it.
Awesome. Glorious. But anyways, let's talk offensive line, guys.
Well, first off, how
Maybe
are
I'm
you?
drinking
You're in New York City still, right?
Unfortunately.
Okay, how you holding up, man? You and the missus? I mean, it's still newlywed phase, honeymoon phase. Everything all right?
Everything's good, man. We're just everyone here is kind of going, Batster crazy being stuck inside, but brighter days are ahead of us here, and what keeps me going every day is knowing that we will be playing football come Labor Day weekend. I've believed that all along.
There we go. Speaking into existence.
But anyways, definitely. But anyways, I'm actually kind of starting to believe what Corey says, where we might actually see the season start a week earlier.
Corey, did you say that? I thought Iris said that.
I said it.
Credit for that?
I said it.
Corey said it too.
Iris just parrots everything I say.
I want to talk offensive line this evening with you, gents.
Okay,
maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
You are.
But,
if you have anything positive to say about the offensive line, you're drinking Kool-Aid. But proceed.
But anyway, after hearing Coach Atkins talk on Zoom the other day, and from going back and looking at his offensive lines from not just Charlotte but also Tulane, I actually think this unit could not just be average, but maybe above average this year. But at the same time, I'm a little worried. So what are your thoughts? I'll hang up and listen now.
Well, don't hang up yet. Real quick. You still there, Maxwell?
Still here.
So didn't we think this about Randy Clements? Like Randy Clements did a really good job at Baylor. He did a really good job at Houston. Him and Kendall are the dynamic duo. They're coming to Tallahassee. They're going to flip this thing. They looked really good for 3 quarters against Boise. And then, aren't we setting ourselves up for the same potential heartbreak, or is there anything that you see different that makes you feel different about Alex Atkins over Randy Clements?
Not necessarily, but however, there's a theory that I've actually kind of started to believe was that, and this came from another podcast I listened to where they said that essentially it was going to be a 4-year rebuild. Well, 2018, they were awful. Last year, they were below average, which leads me to believe that this year they could be average to above average, then gets us to year 4 when they could be really good. I mean, call me crazy, but just I actually like a lot of the pieces that we do have with, Washington at left tackle, Dante Lucas is stud at left guard. I really do believe that Baselli, if he would have started from day one last year, which Kendall led to believe was the right call, then I think you win a little bit more games. Not really sure about Brady Scott per se, but I think Ira Henry, it could actually fill that void at right guard if Brady's not up to the challenge. And then, I really think Devontae Love-Taylor is going to be a nice piece. But however, we both know that things happen on the offensive line, and they could be one injury away from, not having a good year.
All right. Fair enough. All right, we'll hang up. We'll let Corey share his wisdom on this. Maxwell, thanks for the call, man. Take care. Be safe up there.
You too, gentlemen. Talk to you soon.
Corey,
Hey,
offensive line.
Maxwell. How are you, buddy?
Above average?
How are you,
Above
buddy?
average?
No, they're not going to be above average. If they get to average, that's another win and a half for this team. If they get to average, I wouldn't even classify, or I wouldn't classify them as below average last year. They were still god awful. If they can take another step and become not god awful, that will help a lot. And I do like him. I like Atkins a lot. But I think the thing when it comes to offensive linemen in particular, aren't you tired as a Florida State fan of watching your offensive line go against any defensive line with a pulse and get pushed around like children? They just get pushed around like they're a middleweight going against a heavyweight. The size, the strength, other than Minshew, who looked like he ate one of Florida State's offensive linemen, they don't look like the kind of linemen that all these other schools have. They're certainly not as strong as some of these SEC schools. So what's my man Storms going to do? What's the other guy's name, Aslan? Is it Rowdy Dowdy?
Yeah.
What are
Correct.
Rowdy Dowdy and Storms going to do with this offensive line? Obviously you want the whole team to be stronger, but especially there, if they can add 15% or 10% extra power and strength to that offensive line per man, which I don't think is asking too much, although maybe it isn't a pandemic when they haven't been around them for the last 2.5 months. I don't know how much bigger you can get lifting like, big bars of soap. But however, if they can get back to, if they can implement their strength program and it really takes off, that I think is almost as big as Atkins. Because, I think Randy Clements knows what he's doing. Heck, Rick Trickett knows what he's doing. But I think Randy Clements definitely knew what he was doing. They weren't strong enough. They weren't big enough. They weren't physical enough. Find that somewhere. That's what I'm looking for. It's on Storms and it's on Rowdy Dowdy. But I do think Dante Lucas is going to be good. The other ones are all, to me, question marks. But Dante Lucas is maybe, I don't know how much he built off a left guard, but he's good. I think he's going to be an anchor. And then you hope you can find 4 other guys that can play and even occasionally push other people around. That would be good to see against a good defensive line.
1 out of 5 is not a bad thing. 20%. It's got to keep climbing, right?
Hey, just keep feeding it. Just keep feeding it. Pretty soon you'll have all 5.
I'm a little bit hurt, man. I thought my hair actually looked pretty good today, all things considered. Kind of losing a little of my mojo now.
It does look. When was the last time you got a haircut?
Probably, actually, I don't want to admit this. Probably got it like a week after the lockdown happened.
Oh.
But she clearly didn't do anything because look how this looks as bad as it was in Omaha last year.
Now, let me ask you, though, how often do you normally get a haircut?
Like once a month.
All right, so you're a month behind. That's a month growth that you don't normally have.
Yeah. No,
So,
it wasn't that bad.
It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look like the normal Aslan. Aslan's hair is a little more kept.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Killed.
Thanks for coaching me up.
You
Let's
got it,
see
buddy.
here. Oh, we got another phone call. I was going to read text message. These phone calls sound so good. Then it happens in real life, and it stresses you out. Wake up! What's up, man? Who is this? Who we got on the line? Welcome into Wake Up War Chant Live.
Hey, it's Kat from Virginia.
Kat, tell Kirk we're not ignoring him or anything. It's just like I can only take so many calls at one time. So like, tell Kirk it doesn't have to bother you.
He's not trying to call. He won't even try and call again.
Everybody, it's Kat. Kat is Kirk's girlfriend.
Hey,
and when he can't get through, he tells Kat. By the way, Corey says, "What's up, Kat?"
He's not even trying to call because he figures you won't answer a second time. So
I will, Kirk. It's not that, man. Like, if you realize, I'm just a hamster on a wheel.
Let her
There's
ask
a whole
the
bunch of
question.
things going on around.
Let's
But
hear the
anyhow,
question.
ask the question. No one cares about me. Go ahead.
okay, so if the West Virginia game is currently scheduled now to be played indoors, do you think there's a possibility that they'll move that to an outdoor facility?
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me counter question you, Kat. Does he text you the questions? Does he write it down and hand it to you, or does he call you and tell you and you just remember it? Because you said it so well. Like this, I feel like it's a question that you really want to know the answer to.
Well, he's actually sitting here right now.
Oh, is he? Okay, so he's feeding it to you. All right.
Before.
I got you. All right. Kat. Well, you can go ahead and hang up. We'll have Corey answer the question, and I can maybe talk about it too or whatever. Thanks for the call, Kat. Tell Kirk we said hello.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye.
All right, Corey, what do you think about that? Move it to the great outdoors.
It's just always cool to know. It's just always cool to know we have female listeners, right? We have a female. The demographic I think sways largely male, but it's good to know that we have a few females that are interested in the show. That's always nice. So, Kat, hey, we appreciate the call. Keep them calling. It'd be funny if Kirk asked one of her questions next week. If she texted Kirk to ask a question for her. I hadn't even thought about that till she was actually asking that question. And yeah, if the only way the game will be played, because I just don't know if we'll be ready in 3 months to have scores of thousands of people indoors, is if you move it to like Georgia Tech and play it outside with 15,000 of each team's fans there. I could see that happening because some money is better than no money.
You guys got the little iris on the top of the dome, so it's not retractable. It's not the sky dome.
Yeah, I forgot.
You guys can kind of open that thing, right?
I forgot the city of Atlanta spent like an extra $1 billion so it could have a cool little floaty float thing that floats off the. So yeah, if they could make it an outdoor stadium, which they can, they have that ability. Then I guess you could still keep it there. I kept thinking that it's just a dome because silly me growing up, a dome was a dome. It was indoors. Yeah. It didn't have the ability to turn into like a spaceship where it was outdoors all of a sudden, where the roof was just blown off. But yeah, they can spiral up the roof and then play it outdoors. So yeah, I think that's a possibility. Otherwise, if you can't have fans at the game, there's no reason to have that game. There just isn't. It would be pointless. Because the only reason that game was scheduled because each team was getting about $5 million in ticket sales. Well, if the ticket sales are zero, then those teams aren't going to travel to Atlanta to play a neutral site game in front of no one.
You're right. I just think.
Jane Newsom. What's up, Jane? We do have female listeners.
Yeah, look at that. Also, let me put this up on the screen. I don't know what this is supposed to mean.
Stephanie just texted me and said that she's a female listener. So she counts too.
Brandon, Snook Slayer, the most positive I've ever heard Aslan is him answering the phone on YouTube Live. Corey, do you want to remind everybody what the record's been since I've arrived in town?
What are you 9 and 12? What is the record? What is their record? 12 and 9, 12 and 15, 12 and 14?
Y'all acting like I'm here slandering Dalvin Cook.
I would have liked to see you here in 13 and 14. Because I feel like you would have found a reason to be a little bit cynical or a little bit like 13, maybe.
I was with you. I thought Maryland was going to be a problem. But then,
shut up.
I'm not
cool, Aslan.
I'm not patronizing you. I'm being for real. I was like, let's see what this true freshman kid. Now there's some hype around them and people know him and some game tapes out there on him. He's a little bit maybe scouted. Let's see how he's going to be able to handle this. Wasn't a problem. But I was a little concerned about that. And then went to the Miami game. So I saw the Clemson game. As soon as the Clemson game happened, I'm like, we're all going to the Miami game. And after the Clemson game, like, how could you be cynical? Even me. Like, it was no.
After the Clemson game was the first time since the dynasty where you knew going into a Saturday game, it wasn't that Florida State was going to win by a lot. It was, okay, this could be a 40-point win or a 50-point win. They have no chance. And Florida State fans really hadn't felt like that since, I guess, 2000. Where they would play an ACC team, all ACC teams, and be like, yeah, there's no chance. Miami had zero chance. NC State, the week after Clemson, it was 35-0 in about 7 seconds. It was just a wrap. Syracuse was 59-3. Wake was 59-3. Like, literally, that was the one season where it was always just a matter of how bad are they going to beat their opponent. Hadn't had many of those since.
And then 14, I don't know, man. 14, I just was like, it was survive in advance. Like, I would have bought into the stress, the outward sort of stressors of the media and the eyeballs on everything and the whole nation wanting Florida State to lose every week. So I probably would have brushed a lot of stuff under the rug in terms of concerns. But then like 15, I don't even know 15. We started like 6-0 before we lost to,
till Georgia Tech.
Yeah, which I was there for, which did not make the top 10 gut punch loss. But I think Gene was right. It was just such a comical way to lose a game. I mean, like the Marcus Sims game, I'm sorry. Like, I know it can't be number one because what was on the line, but that is textbook gut punch loss.
Yeah.
That is the absolute textbook quintessential definition of a gut punch loss. Like, okay, we're going to run it in. We're going to win the game. It's all over. We fumbled. We lost. Oh, my God.
In a split second. Like, it just happened so fast. Yeah. They had a few of those.
Part two of that? Part 2 coming up, Corey.
What?
Aren't you doing part 2 with Corey? Or aren't you doing part 2 with Gene about the gut punch losses?
Yeah, we're going to do the top 5, I think, probably next week. We wanted a little space in between. And also we should promote on Wednesday, we're going to do the night, speaking of Georgia Tech, we're going to do the War Chat, the 1999 Georgia Tech game. The people that watched that season should remember that game. It was incredible. 41-35, Florida State won. And we're going to have the one and only Mark Richt on the War Chat, talking about that game and then that season. He's got some great stories about Peter Warwick, Chris Winkie, Sebastian Janikowski is an all-time great story that he has for that one. So watch all those. They're really good. Not just for Kurt Unglob's cousin, for everyone. They're really entertaining stuff. I'm not saying it because I'm a part of it. It's just cool to hear those perspectives about those really famous games. Some of them probably before some of you watching this were born. But it's really cool to go back and hear from former Florida State greats about those seasons and those games.
Hey, we have a text message from our guy, Marlon, down in Miami, 305, Mr. 305. What up, Marlon? He wants me to ask Corey, with the talent the coach has at FSU now, how much more would he get out of them as opposed to the talent he had in Memphis? I think he's good for a 3-game turnaround from last year. Love the show. You get the technology down soon, Aslan.
You'll do it, Aslan. Hey, man, I like the fact that we have the little tweets or whatever those are, the little comments coming on right there. That's pretty cool. Not for the people listening to this on a podcast, but trust me, folks, it's neat. I think it's hard to do that only because those were his guys. He recruited those guys, developed those guys, all those guys on that Memphis team he had kind of developed for 4 years. Yes, I think they would have. I think he's worth. I think he and his staff are probably worth. If last year was 6-7, maybe a win and a half. Just I don't know. I'm not trying to be rude. I like Willie, man. Just in competence, in terms of competence, I think you're probably worth a win or a win and a half. I think you win the Boise game. I think there's probably one other game, the Wake Forest game for sure. I think you win with Norville. But yeah, I'm. You can't do this. I know we live in a world, and I'm part of it, where you judge instantaneously after one season or one game or one quarter or one play. But if he could do that with Memphis after 4 years, not only keep them where they were, where Fuente was there, where Fuente turned that gig into the Virginia Tech job, but he got Memphis to a point that even Fuente didn't get them to, where they're in a Cotton Bowl, and they almost beat the undefeated UCF team. If he could do that with Memphis players, what's he going to do with Florida State type talent? That's where it kind of gets you excited. It wasn't, and again, I was pro Willie. I touted that 10-2 season a lot, so I know I'm kind of being a contrarian now or a hypocrite. But it wasn't just 1.5 good seasons like Willie had, mainly because, frankly, he had a quarterback that was an incredible runner. It was 4 years of building a program, 4 years of sustaining and then building a program and improving a program to the point where they had their best season in school history against some real teams, man. So I think that's what's most encouraging about Norville. Not so much skip from 6 wins to 9 wins in one season, but more like what's this program going to look like when he has it on solid footing in 3 years.
Hey, let's keep it going. Let's keep it in that train of thought. We got a text message. People are really texting us. I promise you. I would pull it up, but then you'd be able to see their phone number, and I don't want to broadcast their phone number out. We got Tyler from Tennessee. Corey asks, what would be considered a letdown? What would be a letdown season for Norville in year 1?
If there isn't a season, that would be a huge letdown, Tyler. You know what I'm saying? We got to have a season. I would say, anything like the last two, anywhere in the 5 and 6 win, 5 to 7 win, where some of the losses are just. I mean, look, if you're 7-5, but the losses to Clemson aren't by 70 points, and the game against Florida isn't over by the coin toss, then that's a different. But if you have those still humiliating losses to your rivals, you got blown out by all 3 of them last year. If you play more competitively, and then 7 wins could be fine. But I think with this talent, I do think he's got some talent that he's not going to have in 2021. He needs to take advantage of it. I would be disappointed by say Florida State won that game against Arizona State. All right, great. That's a 7-win team. Was that an impressive run? Was that an impressive season? Would you be okay if Norvell's first season looked like last year?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not just the
Right.
loss total. It's what they look like. But yeah, wins matter too. So don't, you don't want to go 5-7 with 6 of the losses being really close. But hey, I guess it beats getting blown out by your rivals every game.
You got to make it to a bowl. I mean, if they somehow missed a bowl, that would be a letdown. Otherwise, if they make it to a bowl game, if they meet the threshold of last season, like that to me would not be a letdown. And of all the things, and you're right, man, wins matter. Like, I find it hard to believe that this team, this program now, this coaching staff will get embarrassed the way that, things happened the last 2 seasons against Clemson. I just don't see that happening. Even though there's still going to be a big talent sort of gap, I just feel like there's going to have to be better game planning and just game management to not put yourself that vulnerable and not expose yourself to a loss of like that magnitude.
And figure out a way to not melt down. They melted down. Boise State melted down. Louisiana Monroe, Virginia. There were some meltdown moments. Get that out of your system, man. Figure out a way to get that out of the DNA of this program. That'd be a big accomplishment as well.
Somebody texted from Polk County saying your hair is good, bro. Appreciate that. William T.H. Boggs.
Did he clarify? Sorry.
You're right. Look at me, always making it about myself.
Oh, I never told what my shiny secret was.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna wrap things up here in like about 5 minutes, folks. But Corey, do regale us with your beauty tips.
Oh, it's not much.
It's really nice and smooth.
It's mainly just Crisco.
Okay.
Just put a little bacon grease on there, a regular grease, and it really shine. It just sheens almost.
Canola oil, vegetable oil, used.
Crisco. Jeff Cameron uses
coconut oil.
What does he use?
Coconut
yeah,
oil.
coconut oil. Right? Yeah, that's what he uses. No, I actually don't use anything at all. I was just blessed with this.
How about the question from William T.H. Boggs that's on the screen? But I'll read it because hopefully people are still listening to the podcast on their Tuesday. We'll figure this out better so that the podcast is still enjoyed because you're still number one in my heart. But what is a realistic bowl game for us, Florida State, if we are a 10-2 team?
I see you, William.
New Year's Six bowl.
Absolutely, because you're assuming one of those losses is Clemson. And there's no shame in that. It would definitely be a New Year's Six bowl. With that schedule, sure. The 10-2, they'd be number 9 in the country. I would say just pick a New Year's Six game that's not the national championship game. They'll be there.
The person from Polk County clarified that it was me that's got pretty decent hair. He says also adds about busts, but these aren't transfer busts. But he's talking about Kendrick Stewart, Xavier Lee. Those are accurate. Those are fair, but they're transfer busts.
I would say Xavier Lee, if you really did a deep dive on busts, and again, we know who was coaching them, so it's not fair. I mean, Jimbo did get him there the last year, and Jimbo was like, "Yeah, no, this isn't happening." He moved him to tight end, I think, right? Didn't they move? Didn't he switch positions? Xavier Lee, because how many 5-star quarterbacks come in and just start 3 games in their career like that was.
Mr. Florida, he owned every major passing record in the state. I mean, it wasn't just a 5-star, man. He was I think it was the number 1 dual threat quarterback in the nation too. He was top shelf 5-star.
He was supposed to be the savior.
Yeah.
Xavier the Savior, I coined back then. And it didn't really work out. I don't think he really maybe had a passion for football, and it's understandable that he didn't improve because of who the coaching staff was then.
Craig Turner asks, do y'all play video games? I do not. Not any. I used to, but not any longer.
I played the NBA 2K for a couple of seasons. I got a My Career guy and just put up crazy numbers. I'm talking, I think I won 9 MVPs. So this is a great story to finish it all off. So I played probably religiously for 4 or 5 months. I mean, I didn't play every game in a season. I would simulate a lot, but I probably played 5, 10, 12 games a season, then played some playoff games. And our guy went from, making it out of the G League or whatever to being the finals MVP, a 7-time MVP, a 10-time scoring champion, all these crazy numbers. And then when you retire, if you've done enough, you get to be a Hall of Famer. So we retire. I'm all excited to watch my Hall of Fame speech. After I hit retire, I'm like, I wonder what happens when I hit the retire button, because I'm like 39 years old now. Do I get to go to Springfield? What happens? and the character goes to the podium and begins to start talking, and Brady hits the A button to start another season. And it's not like you can go back. So I never got to see my Hall of Fame speech, man. I accomplished a lot. It was really, I'm sure it was going to be like Jordan's Hall of Fame speech. I was just going to make fun of all my doubters.
Let's go quickly through these. Dave Knoll 17 texts and asks, will we have white numbers this year? I don't see any reason why not. Apparently the wheels were in motion.
We better. That would be a bad start for Norville to get off on if he somehow the white numbers that Willie got going. The two things that Willie left the program with in good shape, APR got that thing rolling, or at least better than it was, much better. And then the white numbers are supposed to be coming back.
Yeah. William T.H. Boggs is back. Is this defense better this season coming up than last year? Can we see this defense be as good as the 2013 team?
No.
William, come on, man. Come on. Tighten up. I shouldn't have put that on the screen. That's my fault. I have domain.
It was a question. It was a real question.
Brian from Atlanta. Pardon?
We've been doing this for an hour?
55 minutes and 57 seconds.
Look at us, man. It just flies by.
We're gonna, we'll figure out the phone call thing. It'll be cool. I promise. Brian from Atlanta, Aslan, Corey, you say Norville is not going to get embarrassed because of his preparation. Question, what game this season will have our most memorable meme? And will it be a good or bad one? A la Dalvin Cook 305 in the Orange Bowl or T-shirt waving guy in Raleigh.
Or the dude reading the book in the Clemson game. That's the all-timer. Now, number one, I want to clarify. I hope I didn't say that I don't think Norville will get embarrassed or won't get embarrassed. I hope I didn't say that flatly because
I did.
Oh, you did? Because who knows? I mean, Clemson's really good. There might be a game or two that gets away from him and that coaching staff. I think it'll be much less likely than the previous staff. What was the second ball? What game was the best? Man, I think they're going to have a good season, man. It's not going to be a ton of fans there probably, but I think they're going to have a chance to have a good season. I'm a believer in this guy. It is a bummer when I was saying all that stuff about the competency rise and everything else. It is a bummer, obviously, for all of us, but that he didn't get a spring. Things are going to be so compacted and sped up when they do get the players back, which should be Aslan, next week the players are coming back?
Yeah, man. June 8th. Well, actually, Florida State still hasn't announced.
They haven't announced officially, right?
Yeah, Louisville's the only team in the ACC that said they'll be back.
They're not afraid.
Man, we got a whole bunch of texts. Let's Steve from Missouri, Nixa, home of actually, Steve, if you're still listening to this, Nixa High School, their high school football coach now is a guy from Mississippi, John Perry. Awesome guy. Tell him I said hi. He says he called last Monday night, very anxious to watch this defense with who we have returning and this new motivated coaching staff, like Corey says. We will see better coaching. Some people in Missouri are knuckleheads. Does the new defensive coach have an edge to him? I like his very straightforwardness. Go Noles.
He's a Boston guy.
Yeah, Massachusetts. Like it.
Yeah, that's. We'll see, man. I don't know enough about Fuller to know. I've interacted with him a few times, but we didn't get to see him coach a ton to know. So we'll be able to let you know more in June and July, in August when they get back on the practice field.
Yeah, he yelled at them to get on the field. They had to pay attention. If they didn't, he tell them to run off, get off, do it again. You yelled at guys, pulled them off the field. He's got an edge. Robert Davis, if Pruitt is the defensive coordinator in 2014, are we back-to-back champs? Yes.
I think so, mainly because I think you're not going to California to play Oregon. I'm not blaming the Oregon loss on Charles Kelly, although it didn't help to give up 1,000 points. That wasn't great on the resume, but that was 7 turnovers. But you would have been the number 3 seed. You would have been the runaway number 1 seed going to New Orleans to play a third-string quarterback for Ohio State. And so, yes, I think you win that game, and I think whoever you play in the championship game, I think you're better than Blake Sims. And I don't think Alabama would have lost to Oregon by 42 points. I think Alabama wins that game. So, yeah, but it's also hard to know for sure how much Darby, PJ, Jalen, all those guys, Goldman, Mario, are they still going to be locked into Jeremy Pruitt after they've already won a championship? I think maybe probably more so than Charles Kelly. I think they probably respected him a little bit more, just as a coach, as a defensive mind. But who knows, man? Who knows what the psyche of that team would have been like?
Oh, and last one, Rob from Fort Walton Beach, Florida, home of E.G. Green, Marcus Outson, DJ Hall, and Danny Werfel. Question: surprise breakout player on offense and defense?
I've said
You
it
said
before.
Warren
We've got
Thompson,
this
right?
question before. I say Warren Thompson on offense. Who do you got?
Kalen Laburn, man. Everyone keeps talking about Corbin. Laburn,
Right.
come on, man.
He's going
Let's
to take
go.
umbrage with that. He's going to take umbrage with all this Corbin talk, and he's going to have a break. Man, I'm telling you, before the injury, it's just hard to remember before the injury. It seems so long ago now, but the kid was explosive, man. Not like straight ahead speed. He's not a 4.2 guy, but just in the hole, his quick, what I like to call his quick twitch, his fast twitch. You saw that on the tennis court the other day with me, right? When I pulled my hammy, I did that really fast.
Hamstring better?
Better, not great. I still catches me occasionally when I'm running my 40s. But yeah, Laborn, man, he has some talent, man. He's got something to him. So Warren Thompson, and then defense, I'll go with Gaynor. Does Gaynor count?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with Gaynor.
Say Robert Cooper? He's not really surprised though. I think.
Well, you said breakout. He could be breakout. Robert Cooper could break out.
All right, I'll take it.
Trench monster.
Now I'll change it when somebody asks me in a month. It's a beautiful thing about this show. All right, we're done. There'll be stuff on War Chant for you to consume. Lots of good stuff. What's the hot topic thing we're about to record, Corey? I don't even know. I'm not even prepared for it.
It's about the fans in the stands.
Fans in the stands.
I wrote a column that you didn't promote at all. I don't quite understand it. It's weird. It's been on the site all day.
About the golf thing.
Well, no, it was about live sport, like getting back to sports and how much we miss it all. I just used that was my entree into the subject was the golf and that incredible shot by Brady. That was so nuts because he looked like us out there. Literally, It was like I was telling Stephanie. No, I was telling Brady. I was like, man, it was awesome. They had the tracer on his shots. When it's like, oh, that's going into a neighborhood. You just don't see that on those golf on the golf telecast much. But he was so bad every shot he took before that one, and then Barkley talked smack to him, and he holds it. It's like, man, that's just great. I'm glad he ripped his pants getting the ball out, just so we know, okay, he's still human. That was just it was infuriating but awesome at the same time. It was really cool to see. It was just cool to have a moment like that again, like because that's what live sports gives us, Aslan. It gives us the Trent Forrest Thunder dunk. It gives us Dalvin Cook weaving through traffic and then bursting through a hole and going 80 yards. It gives us Tom Brady splitting his pants. That's what you can't write that kind of drama. You can't see that on Netflix. Let's get back to it.
I think we're going to. Everybody go eat at Zaxby's. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching and listening. War Chat will be back on Wednesday, and then we'll do a Renegade Express on Friday for everybody. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Have a great one.